Germany, home of the LEC. We're kicking off the second half of the split. And with a dead-even race for first, we've got some explosive games ahead of us. In this ready check, we'll give you our mid-split MVP, and Medic tells you how you can carry from support. Make sure to pay attention. Everyone's arriving in the studio, steel back, hoping to get a win on the board, which would be the first win for Vitality this season. And yes, no wins for Vitality before the rest. Very interesting situation in the standings here in the LEC, because for the first time in European history, we have 3 teams tied in first place at the halfway mark. It's Misfits, G2, and Origin. They also all won yesterday. And a couple of things interesting. First time in history that there's 3 teams in top 1.
Right.
And also, no Fnatic in the top 3,
yeah,
which is special.
Forget Fnatic. The fact that we have Misfits at the top is what is so exciting to me. Such a young team, such a fresh team, I really feel like. And when you see these guys play, it's so surprising almost, because 2 people that seem so coordinated on this team, the jungle and support, are the fresh faces on the squad that make this team look so good.
I'm going to jinx it all and say at this point in time, after 7-game win streak, it's no longer surprising. This team is just plain good. I think they have a lot of diversity in their play, a strong mid game, a good understanding of how to close out games, and I really, really like their solo laners.
Hey, dude, the solo lanes look real solid right now. Dan holding his own in the top lane. The team is really putting a lot of resources into Forbidden in mid lane as well. Tons of good vision control around that middle lane, setting up for ganks, setting up to put the resources on him to carry the team.
If I hear you guys talking about Misfits like that, good vision control, team fight, solo laner setup, jungle support, this is a future LEC champion. What's going on?
Ooh, that's maybe a bit too wild, because we have some strong teams up there, but on the path. This is what you want from a rookie team, right? They're starting off with a bang, and I don't think they're going to slow down anytime soon.
Yeah, I think the big thing is they really figured out the teamwork aspect early on in the season. This is, we had a lot of off-season changes, so a lot of other teams are slow to adapt, whereas Misfits have already figured it out.
Yeah, Misfits maybe not tipped off for champion just yet, but definitely playoff contender. Now, Schalke 04 has got 2 wins on the board, and I just want to put it out there so you can reference back that I said it. If they complete it and if they go to the playoffs, it would be a miracle run. Now, it's called a miracle run for a reason. It's super, super difficult, but you can't deny that they've got some momentum going.
I mean, so far they've beaten the best team in the LEC and also the worst team in the LEC. So now I just need them to fill in the rest now and start contesting against the teams that are around that 6th place spot. Because as you said, miracle run would be playoffs. That's where they need to be looking.
Yeah, I think miracle run is just the key word there, right? It's like water to wine. It's going to be very difficult, but if it happens, this is where history is written. These are the stories people remember, and I think that's super exciting with the momentum this team is building.
Yeah, we like to dream, but you have to get those wins on the board if you're Schalke 04. Now, moving away from the teams and the players for a second and focusing in on some picks we saw yesterday. Yamato, a couple of weeks ago, you completely condemned Ornn top as a bait, but in the mid lane, 3-0 yesterday, making moves.
So in the beginning of the LEC, Ornn's win ratio on top lane was just disastrous. I think he had something like a 20% win ratio. It wasn't working out. Too many Broms, too many sets being too strong before the nerf. But now we're seeing the Ornn mid popping off, because in Ornn it's like a Nautilus mid lane. The 2v2 is super strong. You get those levels and you can itemize so effectively against any opponent. AP, AD, you don't care.
Yeah, and the great thing about seeing him in the mid lane right now too is that you have 2 lanes that you can roam to, and with that super long range engageability in the ultimate, he's able to run down bot lane like here and set up for very easy kills to get your bot lane roll.
Yeah, 3 times in the mid lane yesterday, 3-0, 1 time in the top lane, and it didn't win. So we think it's going to be mid Ornn for now. We also saw Nidalee coming out of Xerxes as a counter to Karthus jungle. What do we think of that?
I mean, the Nidalee looked really, really good. I would temper expectations a bit and say this was the best possible scenario for it. Getting Trix flash at level 1 after a tragic invade on the side of SK, but you can see a lot of the theory behind this pick. Early levels, you can try to bully around Karthus, especially if you can deny him blue buff on that first clear. And then later in the game too, when he tries to drop the Requiem, you just heal your allies, and all of a sudden that R is not going to net you a kill.
It's also that the team composition on the enemy team doesn't have that much engage, not many CC tools, so Nidalee can move around. But to step away from the scope of Nidalee and look at the grand scheme of things with jungle, looking to pick jungle in the second phase is something that is new because we saw the Lee Sin first pick, Rek'Sai early picks, Elise, Gragas, but now with a player like Xerxes, you can look for those counters because now with 10.3, everything comes online.
Yeah, and Xerxes has always been one of those like innovator junglers that you love to see go for these new picks. So I'm excited to see if he has anything else he can bust out.
And generally, we're seeing a lot of talk about, well, draft wins games, and is it kind of boring? But there's so much diversity. So even if it's very influential in the game, the fact that we're seeing so many different picks and choices across the board is exciting in itself.
I just feel like right now, being a coach or whoever drafts for any team is very, very difficult because everyone's so open-minded. We have Soraka in the top lane. You don't care anything about...
Not next week.
Yeah, not next week, maybe. Honestly, maybe still there, maybe. Sorry, guys, maybe. But I think just open-mindedness is key, and that's what we're seeing in the drafts.
That it is. We'll see if we see that today. We already have a half split worth of games under our belt, so it's high time for us to react to the best moments of the first round robin in My Face When. If you're new to this, everyone at home can also join in. Just emote spam in chat, type fine, question mark, hey, or dab. Hey, rather. I lost the H there. Hey, hee. I don't know how you say that, actually.
It's like
or dab, and then we're going to give these guys a sign so they can do the same thing. It's coming in right now, I believe. And then, yeah.
You could just dab. You don't need a sign.
Yeah, you don't need a sign.
Just dab on them, man.
Dabbing is so 2019, man. Like, we're over that. We're over that.
Here you go.
All right.
All right.
Just
Look it up.
You can grab first. Grab what you want.
Me.
Wait, what is that?
I'll just.
Take it.
I'll take the blitz. I'm
You
a
each have a
blitz
sign.
man.
You can have a sign.
Wait.
I want to include you. So.
Well, we only have... Wait, what do you have?
Y'all, I don't know. I just have a sign.
Okay, well, no
Branding.
questions asked. I don't know if he asked for anyone's permission, but let's see. Let's get started with clip number 1.
Parallel conversions coming out. Caps locked up, but is able to flash away. And now B-Boy flashing forward, but Jankos is here in time. Trying to turn this one around. Denik flashes with the ignite. B-Boy's got a ball. The TP coming in, but it's 1-for-1 in the bottom lane.
For Squishy, very immobile.
Oh, Caps. No, this isn't good. This isn't good at all for Caps. Misfits, what were you doing, Caps? Facial Fisher used in the bottom lane. The root's going to come out, but here comes Razor. B-Boy almost dead, but Caps oversteps once again. And the chase is on. Misfits with another kill.
To think of the
no. Then it goes in, the charm comes out, and Caps goes down in the mid lane. Looks like they're going in. Oh, the great knockback there from Forbidden. Caps caught out once again. Dan caught out as well. Pulls the haymaker, but can't even take down. Oh, it can get Caps just in the end.
He had some great outplays. Now the dive.
Oh, poor baby Caps. He gets taken out again. Has the power convergence, jumps back with the chrono break. Caps trying to get away, but he can't. Just about get out. The exhaust on Razork will not be enough. Razork there with the parallel convergence. Febby going forward, but here comes the damage. One to force away. Already one down as Caps falls for what seems like their 100th time this game.
Well, no 18-0, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I can't believe they did him dirty like that and showed all of his stats. I'm going to go with a solid, this is fine. Okay,
You just got the question mark over there? Yeah.
It's the
What do you have?
leave Caps alone.
I don't know. It was just, it was a weird chant for me. Caps, 7 deaths.
Let's
was
see what
rough.
people at home think.
That was rough.
Well, a question mark is reigning supreme. The Blitz, what the hell is going on? I can feel them there. Let's see what we've got as our next clip.
SK falling woefully far behind, and Torre's there just in the nick of the time. Is it going to be enough? The Ezreal on the way, and Kadril going down. Genex getting the kill, but Crown Shot's just next on the menu.
And Mickey's above
This is an absolute disaster. XL coming out on top, but another kill. This time going over to the Karthus. Genex trying to fight back, running for his life, using that
Out of
magic damage
range.
shield. Trick just waiting over wall. If they walk into the skills, they might just die. Mickey now going forward. One more force pulse, maybe a bit more damage. Are they in trouble? They're gonna get another kill. This is a disaster.
Oh, no. Trick just missed so many Qs over that wall.
Both no flashes. We win. Karthus no flash. Karthus no flash. Karthus no flash. Oh my. Karthus can't get over the wall. He can't get over it. They're both. He's stuck. Yeah, we can kill. No flash. No flash. 2 seconds. I can heal. Okay. Nice. Nice. Not bad.
This one goes for everyone, actually. I don't know if the question mark also.
Yeah, this one seems to have a lot of different use cases I'm finding out here.
All of them.
I don't know.
What's on the other side of that one?
There's nothing.
The LEC logo.
yeah.
So basically,
There's nothing?
just typical
Wow.
LEC plays.
I mean, I would say okay, champ, but for some reason Twitch chat never says that, so.
Yeah, there we go.
It's a bummer.
Okay. Well, the production has apparently decided to show us a lot of fails, so maybe this next one is a bit more uplifting. In any case, it should get everyone jumping out of their chairs. Let's see.
as a team, they are playing together. When they say fight, they go fight, and Rogue looks scattered.
Yeah, they really do. The kickback was decent, but it doesn't matter. Bwipo's just so tanky. It will not impact him. That's a knock-up onto Larssen. The Brittle's available. Solar Flare comes down. Defensive flash from Larssen, and Vander was sent back to the fountain. Let's bounce once again. All over Rogue. 18 kills, 19 kills, and one more available. The stretching strike catches on Inspired.
Oh, Penta!
Wow.
Penta!
Looking for it, look for the dive. Not going to get it just yet. Are they going to think about it? Reckless is chasing, is looking for it. The Arcane Shift is available to him.
I'm looking. I'm jumping in. I have stopwatch, okay? I have stopwatch.
Don't die then.
I have stopwatch.
Tank it!
Okay, I'm gonna
Guys, I can't move.
I'm medium. What is this int? Guys, got it.
We got it.
Wait, do I live? Get me out! I'm out!
Kill him!
I'm
1
out.
second to
I lived.
Jesus. Did you leave actually?
Oh, I wish I had teammates like that though. That wanted me to get the Penta and just... Yeah, we haven't... I've changed just because we've used it. Now, we've ran into a bit of an issue. I just got a note from production that the wheel is irrelevant because there's only Weird Champ in chat. And that's all there is. And you
What
can
about
blame
Krieg
Ender
as
for
well?
that.
Like that okay champ. Put a smile on our faces.
You can just completely blame Ender for that. Thank you for playing along. I'm also happy that they didn't include any of our fails or like our...
Have you ever
You're
failed?
giving them ideas.
Yeah, I don't like where you're headed.
Yeah. From some kind of laughable plays, or can I keep this? That'd be great too.
I would love to
Thank
keep
you,
mine.
Sven. You know, a lot of failed plays, also a pentakill, but now we want to move on and take a look at who actually played their heart out. Yesterday, we did ask you on Twitter for your mid-split MVPs, and now we're going to take a look at your tweets and also some candidates for this prestigious award. So let's pop this one open. Who do you guys think should be in the running for mid-split MVP?
I think reigning supreme Jankos, last time MVP for me is Jankos, just because of the level of consistency on a G2 that is quite inconsistent in their play. I think Jankos, time and time again, proves to me that when he's facing the better junglers in the league, that he's just miles ahead. I rarely see him any mistakes. He's always at the right place, right time, good communication, good champion pool, neat Lee Sin, and the statistics just speak for themselves.
Look, Jankos, he's the man. I don't want to take that away from him. Fantastic jungler, probably best jungler in our league right now. But is he the MVP? No. Is he the MVP on G2? Definitely no. My money is on Perks because, yeah, look, the stats look absolutely phenomenal here for Jankos, but my money is on the man in the mid lane. He was so solid and picked up right where he left off in 2018. He is really stepping into his own now, dominating in the lane, roaming around towards, all these other sides as well. And I think that as one of the main, vocal players on the squad, he's really taking charge from mid.
Well, of course, you have the B-roll of him stomping on Vitality. That's cool. I think also the difference for me, the difference maker is the fact that Jankos is playing against a stack role in the jungle, while mid lane, I feel like Perks is, he has the second best mid lane, or maybe the best mid laner on his team. He's just a genius in team creation.
Well, that's a good point. I think regardless, if we look at the story arc as well, right, there's a reason he is in this position. He commanded all that from the mid lane, then was able to form this super team, and now changed back after playing marksman for a year. So I think his trajectory alone puts him in the running, but he's not dropped a beat after stepping back into that mid lane, which is very, very impressive. I'm hearing a lot of G2. It's so easy. Everyone, always G2. Give me something different.
Something different? I mean, if we're looking at other top teams, right now you have to look at Misfits and you have to look in the mid lane, right? With the amount of resources Misfits are putting into Febiven, this guy is absolutely showing up. This is vintage Febi from way back in the day, looking really, really solid on the Rift.
I think also the fact that Febiven has showed that he can play many different styles, keep up with the meta, play all of these different champions with the Diana, with the Azir, and I think Misfits as a whole just complement Febiven, and I think it's just the right team for him.
He's also the leader on this team, right? As far away from leaders you could get, but the leader for Misfits with a lot of other fresh faces too. So I think when you look at the whole package and what you can bring to a team, he's really up there.
Yeah, and also the fact that if you just look at what he has behind him, the fact that he's back at that higher echelon of play is very, very impressive. And I think those are three very, very solid candidates for mid-split MVP. I don't necessarily think that we have forgotten anyone. But
Shocks.
What?
I know that you guys are having a great MVP discussion, but you have missed the biggest name, because with great play comes great stats. And Alfari is breaking records right now. This is a 6.5 KDA, 28.9% damage share, 69% kill participation. He's first in CS difference at 15 and first in forward percentage. across the board, Alphari isn't just winning, he's dominating. The last time a top laner had these types of stats was Wonder in 2017. We've always known that Alphari was good, but this year, he's proving that he's the best.
And Alphari, with great stats, brings a lot of great plays. Alphari is the front runner for me when it comes to the MVP this split. In 4 weeks of play, he's already quickly building himself a highlight reel. From this Gangplank 2v1 outplay in week 1 to finding a successful 1v1 kill onto Finn in the top lane, Alphari has been an absolute monster in isolation. This is only made stronger when he has his teammates behind him, where even 3 people is not enough to stop him. Some Soraka, some Camille action. Alphari is a monster. Regardless of the situation, this man has showcased an ability to carry, an ability to create pressure, and played a wide array of top lane champions.
Of course, because without the motivation, the teamwork, the improvement, how else could you find the central star of Origin? The man that's making it... Wait, hang on. Have you guys been talking about Alphari? No, they're wrong. The actual MVP's Deficio, of course, because without this man, motivation, improvement, work, teamwork, it wouldn't happen. This is the guy.
Please
they were wrong.
Hey, cut,
they got it.
Stop, cut his mic.
Thank you.
We give him one thing to do, and again, he brings it back to Deficio. We should have known. In all seriousness, we didn't actually forget him. Alphari, the man's an absolute legend, but we've always talked about him as being a very good top laner, Yamato. So what sets him apart now that he deserves the title of mid-split MVP?
I think the big thing for me is Alphari has always been a strong laner. Kabasha spoke very highly of him. Everyone else in the top lane field always spoke very well of Alphari. Rarely you see him making mistakes, but that consistency has carried over into the mid to late game, where I think in the past was lacking. Now, when he gets ahead, he stays ahead, builds a bigger lead, and he delivers.
Yeah, because when you track his trajectory over, his history in the LEC, he started out as that weak side top laner, right? Where you could give him 0 resources and he was definitely going to hold his own. Then last year in summer especially, he started taking range top lane champions, some carry matchups too, where Origin were trying to funnel resources into him. Now though, he's converting it into wins, and that makes such a big difference when you can carry out of so many different lanes on your team.
Alphari is doing fantastic, and later tonight, he will have to prove himself worthy of mid-split MVP as he faces off against Bwipo in an epic Alienware match of the week.
Always when you have historical matchups like this, these always matter. It might be just 1 point on the board, but it sets a precedent for what is to come. When it comes to Origin, they have a lot of redeeming to do. In a world where the support pool in Europe has been dwindling, I'm happy that Origin took a risk.
Spot lane. Pullback is there. CC and the follow-up on the Graviton. Karzi now looking to turn this one. Has a lot of safety. Destiny gonna flash forward. Is it gonna be enough to take down Karzi? The ultimate coming out from the Karthus. Doesn't even need it. First blood for Upset.
This game against Fnatic, it's my chance to prove that I'm one of the best supports in Europe. I think a lot of people have doubted me in the past, and I want to prove them all wrong.
This is just a chance to prove that we are better than Fnatic, even though a lot of people have been rating us below them. I think we're going to show that we're better and shut them up.
And now Alphari, being healed up by the Soraka, is back on the hunt.
The hook shot comes out, but it's not going to be needed. Alphari with the 1, 2, 3!
At his peak, he looks like he's playing the champion the way it's supposed to be played.
Bwipo's biggest nightmare is a player like Alphari. When players make mistakes, he can punish. But against Alphari, he doesn't show any problems in his armor at all. He is ironclad.
Well, you either crack the armor or you scale harder.
There's the big engage. They've knocked back. They've kicked everyone through, but there's nothing you can do. Comp gonna get flipped back. He's running you down.
You can nearly always know they're going to fight you for anything.
Someone burns a summoner spell, it's like X marks the spot. That's where we want to be.
Somebody wants to fight, we will take the fight, knowing that the fight is bad, right?
See champion, kill champion? Anyone can do it if you've got the skills.
You just have to put yourself on enemy vision and hit a science coming to you.
Oh no, Jack Troll, we thought he had a chance to back, but this is not that opportunity. Now has to run away. Comp watching a support die for the second time.
If you want to beat Origin, you pick champions that scale harder, because they're not going to try to beat you. They're trying to beat the map.
They play just very, very aggressive
too aggressive, I would say, especially Hillesang.
They're going to look to the back line here. This should be a good fight.
Arome's got no ultimate either. The kickback onto Hillesang. He stays alive for a few seconds longer.
You just like try not to die to the psycho plays, and should be good.
Just about to make their way to the inner turret, but it's Nemesis that goes in, puts the ultimate down. The barrel from Xerxes comes up. That's a great interrupt. Nicely done by Selfmade, preventing the engage from Destiny, but it's upset on a Rampage with the double. Turns to Bwipo, who goes golden and stays alive just a few seconds longer.
I think Origin is type of team that do nothing and at some point they win the game automatically, right? Like they did even versus us.
Every win matters. And if you manage to clinch the second place or even the first place, then you're going to be set up for success.
Ooh, absolutely spicy matchup overall, our match of the week, but especially in that top lane. We just crowned the mid-split MVP. He's up versus Bwipo, who he yesterday in an interview quoted was one of the other best top laners in the league. And I think if you look across playstyle, what they can contribute to the team, the way they play forward on the map, the picks that they make, this is just such an interesting one to watch.
Yeah, the top lane matchup, I'm definitely going to have my eyes on too, because as you sort of alluded to there, Bwipo's champ pool is crazy. Like right here, the only whack one looks like the Rengar in the top lane, but if we flip it over to the next, like he's got the Singed in there, he played Conqueror Zac yesterday, like he is an absolute wild card that you don't know what to expect when you face him.
It's also, I think, it just speaks to the playstyle. Just making sure that it's as random as possible, putting the enemy in a position where they just don't know, while he knows more, making it super explosive. That's where he thrives. He loves to be in a position where mistakes happen, either his or the enemy's.
Yeah, that's the thing. Last time these two players faced off, it was Bwipo going for the Swain, and that did not work out. So maybe he needs to look for a different pick this time around.
Yeah, it wasn't good for him. Would you say that they're both the X factors for their teams respectively?
I think Alphari in a case, I think even yesterday, Whip on the Zac, he played so like on the edge. He was chilling in lane with 100 HP and everything kind of worked out because he was playing on that edge. But if Alphari survives that and gets ahead and punishes that, then for sure the X factor is made.
It's so interesting because when we look at two of our top teams in these teams, like you have so many players that can be X factors too. So like we're looking at top lane in particular, but there's so many different individual members that are going to be super crucial this match.
Well, enough about top lane because today we're on the lookout for some standout support performances as carrying from this position can be very hard. However, as we will see in the next few minutes, nothing is impossible with Rakan.
That's right, Shocks. Often overlooked, I think we can all agree that supports are the most important, most vital, and the most handsome players on Summoner's Rift. And anyone who plays support should instantly be praised for their service. Today, I'm going to dive into Denik's stellar Rakan performance against G2 in Week 4 and how he made Caps' life a living hell for the first 15 minutes of the game. Now, first off, let's talk about the draft. B-Boy and Denik are on one of the strongest dueling bottom lanes in pro play, Xayah and Rakan. They're playing against Caps on Aphelios and Mickey on Braum. Aphelios is a very low mobility AD carry. He doesn't have any escapes and relies on his summoner spells, his support, and his utility to survive in lane. So Denik goes on the front foot as soon as he can. Just before 4 minutes, he spots Caps stepping up to CS and immediately jumps in. The purpose of this engage is not to kill Caps. Denik knows that he still has his summoners and Mickey's here for protection. The engage is purely to get Caps to burn either his heal or his flash. They get the heal and Misfits hit the go button on Operation Camp Caps. Razork then comes down to tower dive. Now, if you watched the game last week, you'll know that this dive actually ended up pretty poorly for Misfits as Jankos was there to protect his bottom lane. However, they do manage to burn Caps' second summoner, meaning it suddenly becomes very hard for Caps to lane into the kill threat of Xayah and Rakan. 114 seconds later, Misfits start to reap the fruits of this investment. Caps sticks around by himself in the bottom lane. Denik checks his corners to make sure Caps isn't leeching experience and spots him out. Knowing that Caps has no flash, he immediately jumps in and Caps dies again. Now, Caps did overstep there, but you have to give credit to Denik for his game sense and his ability to capitalize on enemies' mistakes. Just 2 minutes later, Denik engages again. He knows that Caps still has no flash. He engages a level behind Mickey. Still in a really safe position to do this because the wave is pushing towards him. He's got Razork nearby and he knows Jankos is on the top side of the map. Once again, Denik's not aiming to kill Caps. He just wants to chunk him out so that when the jungler arrives, it's a much easier target. Caps and Mickey re-engaged, and they tried to burst down B-Void, but the trap was sprung, and Razork arrived for the gank. Denik forced Caps to burn his flash at 4 minutes and 27 seconds. Before it comes back off cooldown 5 minutes later, the Misfits bot lane has killed him 4 times, has a 31 CS lead, and a 1,000 gold advantage. All due to Denik and B-Void recognizing how to capitalize on that lack of escape. A good support can change the game, and against G2, Denik put on a clinic, and in my opinion, put himself in contention for Rookie of the Split.
Thank you very much, Medic, for making it known that us supports are also very valuable. But with that, we're going to move on to game 1, where struggling rather, as I'm struggling with my words, Vitality look for their first win of the year. For more insight, Trevor is sitting down with their strategic coach.
Hey everybody, I'm Quickshot at the Live Like a Pro interview here at the Biko Smoothie Bar, joined by Mephisto, strategic coach from Vitality.
Yes.
First of all, thank you so much for joining me.
No problem.
Maybe tell our viewers a little bit about who you are, where you've come from, and what is a strategic coach at Vitality?
So overall, I think I joined for the first time LEC last year with Snatic. We definitely struggled too in the spring split, but we managed to catch it on. This year we've been struggling as well. We're still trying to find our way to win and our way to play the game, to fit as a team, to mesh, but we're trying really hard. That's what I can say.
I mean, talk to me a little bit about that, because obviously the Vitality losing streak, 0-9, it's going to have a huge toll, not only on the players, but on yourself and the organization.
Yeah, it does, it does.
What is it like dealing with that on a day-to-day basis?
So, you know, when you have a losing streak, the longer it goes, the harder it gets, right? Because people are, like, it's pretty Pavlovian, as in, like, you try to do a lot of good things, it does not pay off. So you kind of like are not willing to keep doing them, you know? But the way to actually beat this is to actually just push through, just like through sheer like,
force of will.
Force of will, and that's kind of what we're trying to do. You know, we're trying to switch things up, like keep the players like in a good mindset, and I think at some point it's gonna go through, you know.
So you say at some point it's going to go through. Yep. What specifically will be the turning point? You know, you've mentioned it's determination, it's confidence, it's a focus on getting better.
Of course, it is, right? Like, so the focus is on getting better. Like every day we scrim. We have like sometimes twice a week we have like even more scrims than the other teams, where like we scrim our academy team in the evening, try to get like through some special points. But I think like where the real breakthrough is going to be is when, in the end, we have like nothing to lose anymore, right? And at this point, like people try to actually start not playing scared.
The pressure is off then.
Yeah, the pressure is off, right? Nobody expects anything from you, so you actually manage to do your best. So I think this is where it might go through.
Can you tell me, like, is there a difference between how your team and your players perform from the safety of your gaming house or your training facility versus on stage? You know, is there a difference from the scrims to being in front of a live audience with all the lights and all the viewers?
Yes. I think that there's a bit of on and off, as in like there's sometimes a bit of difference, because in scrims sometimes people are like care a bit less. Sometimes they also like play more loose, you know.
Yeah.
But
and that's what you're hoping for,
both,
with
right?
no more pressure as well.
I think so. I think at some point players are going to be willing to just go for the plays instead of just like trying not to make a mistake, not to lose again, you know?
So give me something a little more specific, right? So we've talked a little bit about how difficult it is to deal with, and you're working on foundational elements. You mentioned like work on elements with the you know, ERL team and trying to loosen up the players so they have the confidence. Where is the light in the darkness? At what point will all of this click together for you in Vitality?
I think it's really unsure when this is going to happen. We just know that we have to strive and like keep going forward, right? There's a light at the end of the tunnel. We don't know how long it is, but we're just trying to get there as fast as possible. How we're going to do this? I think first of all, like there's going to be the visa situation that might be resolved at some point. You know, we were banking on getting a certain player, and we still don't have that guy, right?
That difficult situation.
Our academy team is as well dealing with this, so a lot of things to deal through. But we are setting up as a team. We are like moving into new office and stuff. You know, like everything is moving forward. Just the results are not yet following.
Well, listen, I'm so happy to hear that. I'm very enthusiastic about the future. It's not a difficult situation. It's not an easy situation to be in because of the difficulties that you're facing.
It's super difficult, but
I can only wish you all the luck in the world. Mephisto, thank you so much for joining me. Best of luck against SK. I have voted for you to win today.
That's very nice.
Let's hope that it works out. Back to you guys at the desk.